Damn, those alien bastards are gonna pay for shooting my ride.
A long time ago, in a franchise far, far away, there was once a man who was overflowing with machismo, was fully equipped with an infinite amount of one-liners, and got all the babes. This man was known to the world as the one and only Duke Nukem, and today we're gonna go over 30 facts about this iconic video game character. While he is known for his wisecracking, politically incorrect, and hyper-masculine persona, Duke was actually a reserved and silent hero in the release of the original Duke Nukem. In the second installment of the series, he started to evolve into more of a traditional action hero, but it was really in the release of Duke Nukem 3D where he truly became the Duke Nukem we know him as today. Duke's height and weight is listed as 6'4", 240 pounds, and he was born April 9th, 1967, making him currently 55 years old. Due to the controversial content in Duke Nukem 3D, the game was banned in Germany and Duke Nukem became one of the most controversial characters of all time. On June 29th, 1996, Duke Nukem 3D was put on the infamous German index by BPJM. The game was also released in censored form in Australia, with the reduced violence mode permanently on, although a patch to disable it was later released. In the original casting session for Duke Nukem 3D, voice actor John St. John recalled that lead game designer George Broussard originally wanted Duke's voice to sound similar to Charles Bronson's voice in Death Wish. Soon after, they realized it wasn't working, so voice director Lonnie Manella told John that he should instead do his voice similar to Clint Eastwood's voice in Dirty Harry. From there, the iconic voice of Duke Nukem was born. Due to the rivalry between 3D Realms and ID Software at the time, the developers at 3D Realms decided to add many Easter eggs in Duke Nukem 3D to poke at their competitor. One such example is found on Episode 1 Level 3 named Death Row, where in the chapel you can find a tunnel that leads to a hidden area revealing the corpse of the Doom protagonist, in which Duke replies,
That's one doomed space marine.
The Duke was a major in the military. While in the original game, Duke's backstory was limited to essentially being an average musclehead that was brought in by the CIA to save the world from Dr. Proton. The backstory was then later expanded upon by stating Duke was in the military with the rank of major prior to being called in by the CIA. To help solidify this backstory, there's a photo of Duke in a Desert Storm era military uniform in Duke Nukem Forever. Duke was supposed to have a sidekick in the form of a gay robot in Duke Nukem Forever. This was for the idea to highlight some character development for Duke while he interacts with a personality completely the opposite of his. This idea, however, was scrapped early on in development due to the robot having a tragic ending and the developers at Gearbox deciding they didn't want such a heavy tone for the game. Due to the many delays and issues during its creation, Duke Nukem Forever has the record for the longest development time of any game, clocking in at 14 years and 44 days. References to the Star Trek saga in Duke Nukem 3D can be found in Episode 2 Level 3, Warp Factor. Of the many nods to Star Trek in this level, a key one is shown by an area being designed after the bridge of the Enterprise ship, which also has a secret area called the Really Ready Room, which includes some nice goodies. Another interesting Easter egg is the entire map is shaped like the Enterprise starship. Duke Nukem 3D invented InGame Mirrors. Though Duke Nukem 3D is much more known for a lot of other reasons, it actually holds a very special place in gaming history due to being the very first game with fully functioning accurate in-game mirrors. Before Duke Nukem 3D, no other game had done this prior, either not feeling the need to do it or perhaps being too much of a technical challenge. Duke's Unknown Road to the Big Screen. Duke Nukem 3D was a massive hit and was set to become a movie during the 90s. This, however, never came to be as the movie idea was scrapped early in development. Recently, there has been news of a new Duke Nukem movie being planned with John Cena as a star, but currently it's in development with no planned release as of yet. In exploring the layers of the character, Duke Nukem is apparently a fan of the Oprah Winfrey Show, as evidenced in his cutscene from Duke Nukem 1. Although he's not superhuman, Duke has boasted some incredible physical feats throughout his conquests. You can often find Duke manhandling enemies much larger than him with his bare hands, having no issues bench pressing 600 pounds, moving fast enough to evade rockets and lasers, and using his ego as basically a shield to tank through explosions and bullets that would have killed any other person. Duke is an entrepreneur. Sometime after the events of Duke Nukem 1, where Duke became a worldwide hero for saving all of humanity, he started his own burger chain restaurant named Duke Burger. You can see and visit Duke Burger in Duke Nukem 3D Episode 4 Level 2, The Birth, and also in Duke Nukem Forever. The box art for Duke Nukem 3D was inspired directly by the movie poster for Army of Darkness. While playing through Episode 2 Level 8 Lunar Reactor in Duke Nukem 3D, there was a reference to Star Wars Episode 5 The Empire Strikes Back. While navigating through the level, you can find a dead Luke Skywalker hanging upside down in his stormtrooper armor at the back of a cavern. However, in the N64 version of the game, Luke is instead replaced by Yoda. Duke Nukem's characteristics are largely based off of Hollywood action heroes from the 80s and 90s. You can see Duke gets his inspiration from actors such as Arnold Schwarzenegger as John Matrix in Commando, Sylvester Stallone as Rambo, Charles Bronson as Paul Kersey in Death Wish, Bruce Willis as John McClane in Die Hard, Kurt Russell as Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China, and countless others. While when it comes to his appearance, it was apparently based off of characters portrayed by Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme. When playing on the Mac version of Duke Nukem 3D, when you type in DN 1984 on the first level of Hollywood Holocaust, a message will print at the top of the screen that says Big Brother is watching. This will replace also the movie playing in a theater with a 1984 Super Bowl Apple ad. Duke is a published author. After the events of Duke Nukem 1, he began writing his memoir titled Why I'm So Great, a book detailing all of his heroics and conquests. During an early part of Duke Nukem Forever, you get to have a closer look at the book from a small boy hoping to get Duke's autograph. A hidden reference to the Terminator series can be found in Episode 3 Level 11, Freeway in Duke Nukem 3D. In the level, once you navigate through the conveyor belt section, you will find a crushed T-800, to which Duke will say,
Terminated.
This is of course a callback to the original Terminator movie where the T-800 was crushed in machine press by Sarah Connor at the end of the movie. The Little Piggy from 2006. Even though Duke Nukem Forever was in development for roughly 15 years, most of the assets in the final version of the game were quite new, aside from one miniature pig cop statue. In an interview, Randy Pitchford stated that this pig figurine is the oldest asset in the game. Duke Nukem Forever was originally supposed to be a PC exclusive. However, in an attempt to generate better sales, another developer was brought on to port it to PS3 and Xbox 360 to include multiplayer. However, this backfired due to the port being poorly executed and in turn hurt the game's overall sales. While playing on the dam level of Duke Nukem Forever, when Duke makes his way to a stairwell, barrels start bouncing down at Duke while he says,
Here's a hammer when you need one.
And once you reach the top of the stairs, Duke finds a pig and says,
Oh, I was expecting a monkey.
This is of course a reference to the 1981 arcade game Donkey Kong. John St. John wasn't the original voice of Duke Nukem. In Duke Nukem 2, the voice actor of Duke was actually first done by Joe Siegler, though there wasn't a ton of dialogue.
Instructions, and I just said 2 words. I said, I'm back. I am back.
This of course changed when Duke Nukem 3D was released and John St. John took over as the voice of Duke. He has since remained the voice of Duke in all authorized games since the release of Duke Nukem 3D. He was supposed to become a casino star. In Duke Nukem Forever, there was a slot machine minigame in it that was designed to be an Easter egg for the eventual release of an online slot game based on Duke Nukem. The year was 2011, and the idea of online slot websites was beginning to catch on for the very first time. Lara Croft had her first game by then, and so did a few television shows and movies. The character of Duke Nukem would have been perfect for slot games as he represents a logical bridging point between video games and adult entertainment, but it wasn't meant to be. Due to the critical and commercial failure of Duke Nukem Forever, this made developers back off and the concept was never realized. In Episode 3, Level 4, LA Rumble in Duke Nukem 3D, an earthquake strikes Duke as he approaches a tall black building with the sign East Town Towers, in which Duke replies,
I ain't afraid of no Quake.
This is a reference to ID Software's upcoming game Quake, which would be released 4 months later and feature a far superior 3D engine than the build engine used to create Duke Nukem 3D. Furthermore, the destroyed building is a replica of the real-life Town East Towers in Texas, where ID Software's headquarters were located at the time. In the 1997 Nintendo 64 port of Duke Nukem 3D, the game was heavily censored and most of the drug and sexual references were removed. Many examples of this censorship are shown early on, with the women in the game being more covered up, the pornography store being turned into a gun shop, and the removal of the strip club area, which also came with the renaming of the red light district level to Gun Crazy. One final example is in the PC version. Whenever you press the action button in front of the babes that were woven into cocoons and tied up to pillars, they would moan, "Kill me," which is of course a reference to Aliens.
You're gonna be alright. You're gonna be alright. Please. Kill me.
This was changed in the Nintendo 64 port, to which they are now more covered up, couldn't be killed, and instead would disappear with a message saying, "Babe saved." The beta version of Duke Nukem 3D that was made on December 30th, 1994 was called Lame Duke. It was then released as a bonus 1 year after the full game in the form of freeware. In the stadium level of Duke Nukem 3D, if players either look up or use a jetpack, they can see a blimp which reads Duff Beer, a reference to the drink Duff Beer from the television series The Simpsons. Duke is a fan of vintage horror movies. If you've played Duke Nukem 3D at least once before, then you would have definitely heard Duke sing the line "Hail to the King baby" and constantly referencing the plan to kick ass and chew bubblegum.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
These catchphrases, however, are not actually created by Duke Nukem, but instead "Hail to the King baby" is from Bruce Campbell in the 1992 film Army of Darkness.
Hail to the king, baby.
And Kick Ass and Chew Bubblegum is from the 1988 John Carpenter film They Live, starring former professional wrestler Roddy Piper.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And that is it for this list of facts. The Duke Nukem franchise is definitely jam-packed with references to pop culture and Easter eggs, so this video was comprised of the ones I found the most interesting, and hopefully you did as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.